بعرف قلبك موجوع وإنك خلص تعبان، بعرف حرقة الدموع وغصة قلب الحيران، بعرف قلبك موجوع وإنك.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video about my goals for 2020, and I cannot believe that 2020 is coming right up. It's a whole new decade, and I feel old that just saying that 2020 is going to happen. This will actually be my fourth decade, like the fourth decade that I've lived in. So like I lived in the 90s, I lived in the 2000s, I lived in the 2010s, and now I'm going to live in the 2020s, and that's 4 decades. I don't really get how that makes sense, but the way that I'm going to split up this video is I've written down my goals for 2020, and some of my goals are like goals that are specific for 2020, and others are just like ongoing things that I've been working on. But I've split up my goals into 5 categories. So, and I wrote them down on my computer, which is over here. So I'll be looking over there. My first category that I will be talking about is religious goals. The second category is career goals. The third category is physical goals. And the fourth category is social goals. And the fifth category is YouTube goals. So, under religious goals, the first religious goal that I have is to learn more Arabic, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So just continuing on with my lessons and putting my best effort in, things like that. My second goal is to speak Arabic when I'm uncomfortable. So my biggest barrier to learning new languages has been pushing myself to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So whenever I'm in like a situation where I have to speak the language, I always feel uncomfortable, as new speakers of any language probably would. So I let that take over instead of just pushing through it and speaking with other people, because really the best way for you to improve your language skills is to speak and to really practice what you've been learning in class. So my next religious goal is to attend more religious lessons. So I have my Arabic classes every day, and my Arabic classes are infused with religious themes, and then also a religious book that I'm memorizing. But there are classes in my apartment complex. I do not attend them as much as I wish that I would, and I have easy access to them, so I really should. But I let myself get stressed out about the amount of homework I have, like the amount of Arabic homework I have. And so I'm like, oh, well, I have this, this, and this to do, so I can't go to this lesson. But the reality is that I can. It would be useful linguistically, but then also, religiously for the things that I can understand. So my next goal is to do my obligations, my religious obligations, in a more complete manner, meaning like adding in sunnahs into like my prayers and my wudu, for example, and just making sure that I'm doing everything with like, with a good intention and things like that. Just kind of doing things more completely, not trying to rush through obligations, but rather taking my time, really focusing on what I'm doing. And my last religious goal for next year is to, and this is something that I'm always working on, but something I really want to like get down, is to correct my intention. This is something that, people talk a lot about in religious lessons, about the importance of correcting your intention, because even for something as small as like walking to a class, if you correct your intention, you can get religious reward for that if you have the proper intention. Now, an example of a non-proper intention would be like, I'm walking to this class so that other people see me, so that they think I'm an amazing person or an amazing Muslim, and I have a higher social status. That's an improper intention. And then an intention that's just kind of like neither here nor there is just like, so you could give the example of the lesson, but I could also give the example of like putting my hijab on every day. So if I'm in the morning, if I'm getting ready and I'm putting my hijab on, it's a habit for me to do that, because every day I wake up, I put on clothes in like a similar manner, I put my hijab on, it's like part of my routine. So if I just let that be part of my routine, then and I don't remember to correct my intention, like, why am I covering these parts of my body? Oh yeah, because it's an obligation in the religion. So then if I remember my reasoning and my intention behind what I'm doing, then I'll get religious reward for it. But if I just let it be like a habit in my life, then I'm losing out on a lot of reward that I could be getting. Now, moving on to the second category, career goals. My first career goal is to work up the motivation to apply for another job. So I currently work as a babysitter in the morning, but I've been wanting to apply to an online teaching job for some time, like teaching English. But just because I know that the application process is going to be sort of time consuming, so just kind of working up the motivation to like spend extra time on applying for another job is something I feel like I really need to do, but I have not had the motivation to do it. I've just been like, oh, well, I have work to do. I have my babysitting job, but I really do want to have an additional job this coming year and save up some money. So once I start the online teaching job, my next goal is to make my hours consistent so that I'm working every day. And then my next career goal is for 2020 is to work as much as I can over the summer. Similar reason, like to save up money for the following school year. And now moving on to the next category, physical goals. My first physical goal is to start working out on a regular basis at home. So at the beginning of the year, I was like, yeah, when I get here, I'm gonna work out at home. I'm gonna do a YouTube workout. That's something I've done in the past. And I did for a little while, but I've been extremely inconsistent, and you know, I haven't been doing it now for like maybe a month or 2 months even, for a while. My goal is to start out slow. Like I want to start out doing, you know, 15 minutes each morning, and then try to be consistent with that, and then work my way up instead of just diving into like a super intense workout regimen. I don't think that if I do that after having not worked out in several months, that it's really going to work for me and I'm going to keep it up. My next physical goal in 2020 is to eat more of a varied diet, especially with more vegetables. And it's weird for me that this is a goal because I've always been such a vegetable eater. Like anybody who knows me knows that, like, you know, I grew up having my mom make salad every single day for dinner. Like, we wouldn't eat salad as the main meal, but like the main meal would be something, and then salad would always be on the side literally every single day. And when I was in college, like I would always eat salads like for meals, and I would crave vegetables if I hadn't had them in a little while. So I am very much a vegetable eater, but ever since I've been here, I have not been eating vegetables at the same rate. And so that's something I definitely want to go back to doing, to buying vegetables and making salad, and just in general having a more varied diet instead of eating like pasta and rice and noodles like most of the time. My next physical goal for 2020 is to start being more adventurous with my cooking. So something that I've done in the past, especially when I lived with a roommate last year in an apartment, is I looked up recipes like all the time, and I would make new things and, you know, try out different kinds of cooking and stuff like that. And it wouldn't ever be anything super complicated, but it just gave me more of a variety in what I was eating. So, you know, going hand in hand with eating more vegetables, I also want to just vary what I'm eating in general, and, you know, and learn new recipes, learn how to cook new things. And my last physical goal for 2020 is to insert more self-care into my routine. Self-care is also something that I used to do a lot more before coming to Lebanon, and now that I'm here, I don't know why, but I just like don't do it as much. I used to do face masks frequently, I used to do hair masks, I used to do, you know, just things that are like fun, and so I want to kind of work it back into my routine. Then my social goals for 2020. My first social goal is to keep my marriage strong and to, you know, keep up the good communication that my husband and I have going, alhamdulillah, and to, you know, make sure that we're always listening to each other and not just like, you know, sometimes like when you're having a disagreement about something or something along those lines, you kind of don't listen to what the other person says, you just kind of prepare your answer. Well, just to always make sure that I am listening to my husband and that we're keeping up strong communication. My next social goal is to work on my shyness. That has been something that I've been working on for a long time. It's like an ongoing battle for me. I do tend to be a bit more shy, especially around new people. Similar to forcing myself to speak Arabic when I'm uncomfortable, just like forcing myself to interact a little bit more even when I'm not 100% comfortable with it. My last social goal for 2020 this has also been something that I've been working on for a long time, is making sure that I spend my time with people who benefit me and who align with my goals. So for example, like I would not want to be spending my time with somebody who just spends their time talking about other people or gossiping or, you know, having conversations that just don't have a lot of substance. Sometimes you make friends just because it's convenient, because those are the people that are around you. But a goal of mine is to really weed out the people who I don't feel like are really benefiting me, and I don't feel like, you know, are making me a better person or like a stronger person. And this is something I've been working on for a long time and something that I have made progress in. It's been difficult. And also, to build on that, I guess this could be another goal, but it's kind of a goal within this goal, is to, if I am interacting with somebody who's doing something that, you know, I don't find to be good or I don't find to be beneficial, then having the courage to call people out on that is definitely something that I'm working on. I think I'm afraid to offend people sometimes, but sometimes even if telling somebody that what they're doing is wrong is going to make them a little bit annoyed in the moment, sometimes it's just what's necessary. And that's definitely a goal of mine for 2020. So now on to my goals for YouTube in 2020. My first goal for YouTube in 2020 is to be consistent with posting videos, reliably posting one video every single week. Yeah, I think consistency is important for building a channel and building an audience, but also being creative in this way. Being on YouTube and making videos is kind of like a creative project, and being creative is a huge part of happiness. I took a class in college about psychological resilience, and one of the things that we talked about was how creativity has been shown to be a huge factor in, I think it was in people's happiness and also in their psychological resilience. So I feel like posting consistent videos and having that creative mindset each week is something that is going to make me a happier person overall. My next goal for 2020 is to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't know if that's like an ambitious goal or if that's like me actually shooting low, but I think I can do it. My next goal for YouTube is finding the courage to vlog. I would definitely say that I find it uncomfortable to hold a camera around with me throughout the day. And if I'm in my home, not really, but if I'm in my home, I also don't find what I do every day to be that entertaining. But I think that's what every vlogger says. They're like, well, this is just my life and I don't know why people watch it, but they do, and you know, and I love doing it. But so I want to start vlogging, but it's just kind of pushing myself to have the courage to do it and not to feel awkward, I guess, holding a camera throughout the day. My next goal for 2020 for YouTube is buying a camera for YouTube. So currently the camera that I use is the camera on my iPhone 7 Plus. And so it's old, and I have to use the selfie camera, like the front camera, because my back camera is actually broken. I dropped my phone a while back, and the camera itself is not broken. It's like something on the motherboard of the phone. So the only camera I can use is my front camera. And you know, it gets the job done, but I could definitely have much better quality videos. So a goal of mine for 2020 is to buy a new camera. And I really want to get the G7X Mark II, like the Canon G7X Mark II that a lot of YouTubers use. So that concludes my goals for 2020. But I also wanted to announce at the end of this video that I have figured out what my channel focus is gonna be on. In the beginning, I really didn't know, and I just kind of started making videos about like things I thought would be interesting. But I actually want to have a more congruent theme in my channel and to focus it on something that A, I know a lot about, and B, like is just an interest of mine. I've encompassed the focus of my channel into like not three words, but like 3 phrases, I guess. And I will post it on my channel banner so that you guys can see it there. So I just wanted to announce what that is. So my channel theme is going to be self-improvement. So like self-betterment kind of. Mental health, like staying happy, staying positive, and dealing with like difficulty and hard times and things like that. And then the last phrase is Islamic values. So in talking about self-improvement and in talking about mental health, also inserting my Islamic values into those topics. And I have a lot of ideas already, but when I came up with that theme, I wrote down like 12 different video ideas, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in. And in college, I majored in psychology, so it's something that I mean, I'm not an expert, but I know a lot about the topic of, you know, self-improvement and mental health and things like that. And as a Muslim, it's very natural for me to insert Islamic themes and Islamic values into those conversations. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave in the comments if you share any of these goals, and let me know some of your goals for 2020. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.
بعرف حرقت الدموع وغصت قلب الحيران، بعرف انه اللي جوا نار وثورة بركان، بس انت الليل اقوى من قسوة